Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto in person and online. Our mission is to nurture connection, share life's joys and sorrows, and act for love and justice. We value your presence, whether you're joining us from around the corner or from around the world, and whether you're a longtime member of this community or visiting us for the first time. No matter where you are on life's journey, you belong here because you are here. As we acknowledge the land we are on, I also encourage you to reflect on your relationships with the life around you, the life that feeds you, the plants and animals and insects that keep you company as you move from one destination to another, the moon and the sun which greet you each night and day. This land and life offers us so much, and we have so much life to offer it in return. With gratitude, First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto gathers on the ancestral homelands of many Indigenous peoples from time immemorial. Today, we acknowledge this is the traditional territory of the Wendat and Haudenosaunee. We meet at 473 Oakwood Avenue on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, covered by the Toronto Purchase Treaty No. 13 with the British Crown. Many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people now also call this city their home. Toronto First Unitarian congregants are treaty partners with responsibilities. We strive as individuals and as a congregation to be informed, to honor and care for the land, and to engage with integrity with Indigenous people. My name is Alexa Yaffe. My pronouns are ze, them, and he, him, and I'm a member of this community and your worship leader for today's service. I'm joined today by Reverend Linda Thompson, Director of Congregational Music, Dallas Bergen, pianists Marilee Brand and Tom Lillington, as well as our AV technician, Matt Rideout, and our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Angela Klassen. In today's service, Reverend Linda will be reflecting on what it means to answer our individual calls. I'm happy to bring you news from the life of the congregation. Mark your calendars. We will be having our first community open house on Saturday, October 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. There will be fun activities for all ages. More details will be coming soon. And all are welcome to join in Sacred Circle Dance on July 8th from 7 to 9 p.m. here at 473 Oakwood. There will be music from around the world and seated dance options, as this is a self-care circle. For information on what we do around here and to get connected, please visit the welcome table just outside the sanctuary doors. And you can also say hello and register for our First Light e-newsletter through our website. First Light is where you can find out more details about these events and other events happening this week and community opportunities. Thank you all for being part of the life of the congregation. And now as we begin our service, for those online, I invite you to light a candle or chalice if you have one close by. And in person, I will invite Maura and Aya to come and light our chalice. Now please join with me in saying our chalice lighting words. As we light our chalice, may its flame kindle within us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. Thank you so much. We begin our time of worship, this time that we make sacred in our coming together, by greeting our neighbors while being mindful of and respecting one another's ways of saying hello. Please take a moment to greet your neighbors in a way that suits their comfort level. Thank you. I now invite you to rise as you are able and join me in singing together hymn 347, Gather the Spirit.
Good morning, friends. We gather this morning as seekers and listeners. We come with questions. What's calling to us? What gifts are waiting to be shared? What is ours to do? In this hour, may we quiet the noise that distracts us, open ourselves to wisdom from within and beyond, and listen to the voices that call us toward greater love. May this community be a place where we hear one another's callings, where we encourage courage and compassion, and where we discover together the work of building a more beautiful world. And let us worship together now and begin by sharing the words of our covenant. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. And Angela, as per usual, has a great story for us.
Thank you, beloveds online and in person. If you know your Leo Tolstoy, this is going to sound a little bit familiar, but that may not be the case for most of us. The 3 questions, written and illustrated by John Muth. There once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my 3 questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered the first question. Then Sonia, the heron, spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, You will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin the dog rolled over and said, You can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. Nikolai thought for a moment, and then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those closest to heaven, said Sonia. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew that they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions. But their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I'm looking for. Nikolai hiked up the mountain where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging in a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions, and I came to ask for your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him a shovel and thanked him, and because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows. The panda woke up. Where am I? She said, and where is my child? The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry, and then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning, the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everything was all right. Nikolai felt great warmth and peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions. So he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. But your questions have been answered. They have? Asked the boy. Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me. And the most important thing to do was help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing to do is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. This is why we are here. That was the 3 questions written and illustrated by John Muth. And young people who are with us, we are continuing our experiments with wool roving, which is wool that has come off sheep and been dyed. And they are welcome to join us downstairs if they would like. We'll meet at the elevator.
Enter with me now into a time of meditation and prayer. The time we begin with words from Sufi mystic Rumi titled The Guest House, which will be followed by silence, then musical meditation with the lighting of candles of concern or joy and the sharing of our sorrows and joys. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
As is our custom, we come to tend the sacred bonds that bind our lives and remind us that we are connected. In these moments, we seek to widen our caring ministry by naming joys, sorrows, and milestones in our own lives and that of the congregation. We hold in our heart all those who have heavy burdens, those grieving, those facing illnesses. May they find comfort and a path. I invite you to bring to mind those you are holding in your heart today. If you are online, please feel free to share your sorrow in the chat. And if you are in the room with us, please speak your sorrow briefly now. Life has sweet moments, joy and delight. May they encourage us to cultivate gratitude. At this moment, please bring to mind all that you are grateful for today. And again, online, feel free to share your joy in the chat. And if you're in the room, I invite you to share your joy briefly now.
Grateful for the rain, because we have no water at our community garden.
My daughter is free of cancer.
I'm grateful for my aunt that turned 107 Canada Day, so it was a double special day for me.
Alex visa got approved.
If not everyone heard that, Reverend Alex, who your new minister, visa was approved. So clear to come to Canada.
Some of the world council in Canada, and especially in my Portuguese neighborhood, they were honking my
Fun. Alexa, will you light one final candle? For those online, so that their joys and sorrows can be brought into this space with us, and for all of those that are unspoken here. In joy and sorrow, in struggle and success, may we together embrace life's blessings and endure its challenges in the sacred hope that we might grow stronger through both. May we summon the strength to do our part to heal the hurts of the world. May we live with courage and compassion, with gratitude and joy, today and always. Amen. There's a Hasidic story about a rabbi, Zuzia, of Anipol. This version is adapted by Doug Lipman. Once the great Hasidic leader Zuzia came to his followers. His eyes were red with tears and his face was pale with fear. Zuzia, they said, what's the matter? You look frightened. Well, the other day I had a vision. In it, I learned the question that the angels will one day ask me about my life. The followers were puzzled. Zuzia, you are pious, you're scholarly, you're humble, you have helped so many of us. What question about your life could be so terrifying that you are frightened to answer it. Zuzia paused and turned his gaze to heaven. I have learned that the angels will not ask me, why weren't you a Moses leading your people out of slavery? Well, his followers persisted. No, they won't. What will they ask of you? And I have learned, Zuzia sighed, that the angels will not ask me, why weren't you like Joshua, leading your people into the promised land? They were puzzled. And at that moment, one of his followers went forward, approached Zuzia, and placed his hands on Zuzia's shoulders. Looking him in the eye, the follower said, but what will they ask of you? And the answer came, they will say to me, Zuzia, there was only one thing that no power of heaven or earth could have prevented you from becoming. They will say, Zuzia, why weren't you more like Zuzia? I invite you now to join me in singing number 41. Oh.
I brought my spirit to the sea. I stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity and heard the waters roar. And then there came a sense of peace. Some whisper calm I saw. Some ancient ministry of stars that made my spirit whole. I brought my spirit to the trees that moaned against the sky. I touched each wandering careless breeze to know if God was nigh. And then I felt an inner flame that fiercely burned my tears. I rose from and mended me to meet the asking peace.
Good morning. It's good to be here with you all. It's delightful. Oh, excuse me. This is very embarrassing. I'm just going to put that away. Well, maybe I should answer it. It looks important. This is really embarrassing. How can I help you? It's you? What are you doing calling me now? You know this is a bad time for me. I'm sure you meant to call someone else. And again, bad timing, bad timing. Really? I'm sure you wanted me, I suppose, but maybe we could talk tomorrow. This sounds really important, and I'm going to have to think about it. I'm supposed to be talking to these people. Okay, we'll talk later. Really bad timing. Goodbye. Wow. Well, when I was a child, that's what I imagined a call would be like. I was half expecting to get the call. Not for ministry, because a woman minister was completely outside of my frame of reference when I was a kid. But I thought maybe I'd get a call to do some great mission work. I looked for and I waited and I watched for signs. You might have figured out I was a bit of an odd duck. My thinking has changed in the years since then, but in some ways, when I think about it, I'm not so far from that place as I might have imagined I would be. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I am right now because I think it might help you understand something about my comments. I am an unapologetic enthusiast for our religious faith. I think you need to know, too, that I believe we impoverish ourselves when we throw out all the good words, or at least some of the good words. I know about the allergies to religious words. I've got some of them, too. But I'm working hard to deal with them. I figure the occasional outbreak of hives is worth it. I figure if I can reclaim and reframe some of the words of deep significance and meaning, words that sometimes make Unitarian Universalists uncomfortable, I might gain some insight. You may hear an enthusiasm in me at times that some classify as unseemly for a UU, and I share this so you know a little bit about where I'm coming from. My time with you this year has had me thinking even more than is usual for me about the meaning of community and about religious community. I am truly grateful that I've had the opportunity to be with you as we've asked questions about what's the nature of this congregation? What makes this congregation different from other types of communities? And what's the purpose of religious community anyways? And what does it mean to be a member of a Unitarian Universalist congregation? I think it's essential that we think about this, maybe particularly right now, because without the answers that each of us offers, without the conversations that are going to follow from those questions, there's a danger that's probably true in human community at all times, of doing what you've always done. No two people in this room will have the same answer to those questions, and that's great. That really makes me happy, because it means there's a full and robust range of opinions, and there's rich stuff there. I'll tell you, though, how I answer those questions, or at least some version of this most of the time. Unitarian and Universalist congregations are non-creedal. Members are free to formulate their own opinions on the nature of the divine, or even the existence of the divine, and on other theological matters. Yet they come together in community to challenge one another, to support one another, and to understand how their diverse beliefs call them to respond to the world in which they live. There are other answers, and there are other ways to talk about this. I think I've used this quote before. James Luther Adams, an influential Unitarian minister and theologian of the last century, said, "Church is a place where you get to practice what it means to be human." And I think practice sharpens our skills. Both my response and Adams, his far more succinct than mine, do address the issue of becoming, of wondering what it means to become more fully human. Because I think done well, our congregations are places where each of us can, if we take the time to listen, to hear the questions, to think about our responses, to become more fully ourselves. Like the teacher Zuzia, I've been challenged to be more fully myself. Through my involvement as a Unitarian Universalist, I have been challenged to become more fully human, and more importantly, more fully Linda. It's my hope that we can give one another the support and the challenge we need as we make our individual journeys through life. In these places, we recognize humanity in those around us. We understand that we're fallible, and we can, I hope, learn to accept our own flawed nature. I've been hanging around UU congregations for a long time now, so I've heard a lot of stories, and I know through firsthand experience how our congregations have been a haven for some. Have you found a kind word, a warm smile, practical help and support when you most needed it? I have heard others tell me how they've developed skills and tapped personal resources that were previously unknown to them. Have you found yourself saying yes when asked to do something that you never dreamed you might do? Have you surprised yourself with your newly discovered capabilities? Have you realized some of your potential? All those years ago, I came to a congregation in Hamilton looking for a place to be quiet, to reflect on Sunday mornings, a place where our children could learn about religion. I found those things, but so much more too. I've learned so much about myself through the things I've been encouraged to do and through the support I've been given. It's amazing. I have heard it said that the purpose of church is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. I believe we can do that for one another. I know that I've been afflicted a bit, and I suspect that some of you can relate. I believe that each of us has at times both the afflicted and the comfortable. If our congregations are to provide this kind of support and challenge in our lives, if they are to be places where we can explore our beliefs and where we can work with patience and compassion on being the people we can be, It will be because individual members understand that is why we're here. Because I've learned through my work with this and other congregation that congregations really are their members. There is in our tradition of congregational polity no them. We have no bishops or deacons or ecclesiastic authority that can make it happen. We folks are it. Look around. The people you see here are the First Unitarian Congregation of Toronto. It's common to hear church communities, congregations compared to extended families. I don't actually think that's the best comparison, though I understand some of the feelings that make that feel like a fit description. But my family, wonderful as they are, cannot take the place of supportive community. I'm lucky. My family is supportive and accepting, but they don't get big parts of me. They think the fact that I do this, and have done this you thing for all these years, a bit odd. My family's supportive and accepting, and that's not true for lots of us. Some of us live too far away from family members to have that kind of ongoing relationship. Others have, for a variety of reasons, become estranged from their family. And whatever our relationship with our families, I think we can easily understand there's one basic difference between a family and a congregation. Congregations exist to be religious communities. Our religious values and beliefs, however diverse they may be in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, are still a unifying force for us. The principles we affirm of the inherent worth and dignity of each person, the right to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and the recognition and affirmation that we are part of an interdependent web of creation are part of the glue that makes us a community, that makes Unitarian Universalists a faith tradition. When we light the chalice and when we sing together, we are engaging in practices that other Unitarian Universalists do. Our form of worship varies from congregation to congregation, but there are similarities. When we light the chalice, we are reminding ourselves of our hopes of community, this religious community and the larger Unitarian Universalist community. We are reminding ourselves that we believe that our lives matter, that we can make a difference in the life of our fellow congregants, and that this congregation can make a difference in the world. Our families don't usually aspire to be religious communities that exist to support one another and to serve the larger community. And if you believe, as I do, that what we do and one of our purposes is to nurture people, to encourage people to, and this is a quote from Channing, to recognize in one another the seed of the divine. If you believe that, along with me, you will agree that each of us has a moral imperative to ensure our congregations are healthy, thriving organizations that have a gift for hospitality and a strong commitment to growth. If you have, as I have, been welcomed in one of our congregations, and if you have, as I have, found your life enriched, found new ways to be fully yourself, then you will believe, as I do, that not making this religious approach available and accessible to others who would join us is not an option. I believe we need to be communities that make it easy for those who don't yet know that we're here, to make it easy for those people who do find us to join. I'm not naive. I know that this isn't always easy. I understand the human resistance to change. I've done it. When I first came to Unitarianism, I mistook some of my congregation's visible and obvious differences from the norm as part of the essence of who they were. When I joined in Hamilton, there were about, 30 people there on a Sunday morning. They met in a renovated house, and they were lay-led. And I mistook that small, lay-led, university-style lecture congregation for the essence of Unitarian Universalism. I wondered, maybe more harshly than just curiously, I wondered why some of the members there were talking about growth and ministers. Not to mention that I wondered why some of them used the word God. What they gently and gradually helped me to understand was it wasn't all about me and what I was comfortable with. The First Unitarian Church of Hamilton did not exist to make me comfortable, did not exist to make me feel clever. It existed to help those who would join us on our journey of liberal religion. I went along with those who had another vision, and friends, I've learned a lot. I've learned that traditional religious forms and liturgy do not equate to traditional theology. I've learned that people who are different than me, that have different backgrounds, that are younger or older than me, may not come with some of the resistance to things that at first made me uncomfortable. I've learned that not everyone shares some of my allergies to religious language and religious forms. I've come to understand that we really need to embrace theological and liturgical, the way we do services, diversity if we are to grow. And as you've figured out, I believe we need to grow. This congregation is on the threshold of a new ministry. We just heard the good news about visa being approved. Reverend Alex will be here and starting services he'll be here at the start of August and starting services right after Labor Day. So you're on the threshold of a new ministry here. What this congregation will become and how it can serve those who you do not yet know is up to you. It will require change, I know that. New people will have new ideas. They will have different answers to some of the basic theological questions that we ask ourselves. They will have different understandings of how things should be done and what makes for quality congregational life. And so if you are going to live into, and I encourage you to really live into the next call in the life of this congregation, you must know that things will change, and you must take responsibility for making it happen. You can't rely on the board of directors, the committees, your new minister, or any other person or group to make it happen. Of course, you can assume that all those people are working in support of the same goal, but you can't leave it up to them. You are the congregation. You make it what it is, and you make it what it can be. I know, because I know a bit about our congregations and about human nature, that some of you feel there is real comfort in the way that things are done here, the way they were done when you were in your last building. I ask you this morning, though, to consider the imaginary call that you might receive. But I hope your phone's on silent. What are you asked to do? What are you asked to be? How are you required to help this congregation realize its potential as a congregation that can transform lives? If this congregation is to be what it can be, we need you on your way to becoming who you are, to join in. This congregation is made up of people who are becoming more like the Margarets and the Bills and the Lindas, there's quite a few of those around here, and Zuzias or whatever that they can be. You are this congregation, and each of you has a responsibility to ensure it becomes what you collectively dream it can be. I warned you earlier about some of my enthusiasm. I believe in our congregations because I think they can change lives. I've heard stories from people who tell me some remarkable things. Before I found this congregation, I actually didn't understand why my life was worth living. That's powerful. And I've heard that more than once. Or I've heard, I found a place where I feel understood. I feel a place where I belong. Wow. We are, when we are working well, communities of diversity, communities of challenge, and communities of respect, democracy, and peace. We can and we do disagree with one another. We struggle to get it right. But it is in that struggle that we can learn lessons that our world needs. We have much to celebrate, and we have much to do. We have much to be thankful for. I'm going to close with one more story of community. There was once a monastery that was set on beautiful grounds. Things weren't going well, though. The abbot was worried about his community because each year, it dwindled in numbers a bit, and some of its vitality began to fade. And so the abbot decided to speak to a wise friend of his, a rabbi who lived nearby. He told the monks that he was going to seek advice so that their beloved community could once again thrive. And on the appointed day, the abbot went to visit his friend. He explained the problems he was having, and he told the rabbi he wanted his help. The rabbi responded by offering a cup of tea and by chatting about the news of the world. As the time for the visit came to an end, the abbot asked, "But what advice do you have for me?" It sounds a lot like Angela's story. "But what advice do you have for me? I'm concerned because at this rate, our community cannot survive for long." The rabbi just smiled at his friend and said, "The Messiah is among you." And with that, he hugged the abbot and turned and went back into his cottage and closed the door. Well, the puzzled and still worried abbot returned to his community. The monks eagerly waited for him and asked him when he arrived, "Well, what did the rabbi say? How can we strengthen our community?" The disappointed abbot told them of the rabbi's confusing message and of his real worry for the community. The monks were sad that the rabbi's advice seemed so meaningless, and they all continued about their routines with real concern. But in the next weeks, as they gardened and did the laundry and prayed and prepared and ate meals, they thought, "The Messiah is among us? Could that be true? Could it be Brother Peter? Oh no, he always makes mistakes when he's saying the Mass." But then on the other hand, he is very kind when he knows you're troubled. Could it be Bartholomew? Well, not unlikely. I don't think he has true faith. He couldn't be the Messiah. Oh, but he does sing beautifully. What about Brother Simon? He always wants to upset things with his ideas of change, but when you need advice, Simon always knows what to say. Maybe. Oh no. Could it be me? Surely not. Not me. Maybe John. Who is it? And as they wondered, a strange thing began to happen. They began to change the way they thought, spoke, and treated one another and themselves. Underneath their everyday interactions was an awareness of the rabbi's words. Maybe one of them was the Messiah. And they began to treat one another with profound respect. They began to act as if each of the brothers, including themselves, was the Holy One. And a wonderful thing happened. The community began to fill with a spirit of love and respect and cooperation. People took the time to listen carefully to one another. After all, you don't want to miss something that the Messiah says. They began to treat one another as if they were gifts from God. And in time, the news of that wonderful community began to spread. People loved visiting. Families came and picnicked on the lawn there. Novices began to choose that community as a place to begin their monastic life. The spirit of care and love began its work. The understanding that the Messiah might be among them transformed that community. Their understanding that each of them had a seed of the divine in them made theirs a community of love and warmth and vitality. May it be so here. Let's take a few breaths together.
Here at First, we practice our values and realize our mission through our weekly services, our programs, support groups, outreach, and our work in the wider world, all of which require intention, time, and giving. It is a joy to receive and a joy to give, whether it be giving your time and energy through volunteering or by giving financially, no matter how small or how large. Your generosity ensures that your community can continue to give to you and give to others in the spirit of our shared vision. At the back of the sanctuary is a giving basket where you can make a donation, or please visit our website and click Donate to Make a Difference, and Matt will drop the link in the chat for our online friends. Thank you all for your generosity. Will you rise in body and or spirit and join me in singing together hymn 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We hope you found connection and meaning. We look forward to seeing you again. If you're online, if you want to stay as part of a discussion, you'll get an invitation to a breakout group. And your question for discussion today, to get the conversation started, is what is one call you have heard in your life, large or small, and how did you respond? As our common flame is extinguished, let us reflect. May you hear the call that is yours to hear. May you recognize the gifts that are yours to offer. May you find companions for the journey. And may you help create a community where every voice, every story, every calling has a place. Go in peace and go with courage.